Back live with you tonight. The ANC Veterans League will hold its national conference in July. The announcement was made by the league's convener, Dr. Snuki Zikalala, at the end of its three-day lekgotla in Johannesburg. He joins us now to expand a little bit more on this upcoming Congress. Dr. Zikalala, good to have you, and thank you very much for coming on tonight here on In Focus. Coming out of the three-day lekgotla, do you feel, at least from your deliberations, that this particular structure still holds the respect and the confidence of the broader party in terms of bringing correction?
Yeah, and good evening to you and good evening to your viewers. Yeah, as a Veterans League, we feel that this structure, it's one of the most important structures within the organization. And we feel that this is the only structure that can be able to ensure that the ANC policies and values are entrenched within society, and also to ensure that we bring back public confidence, especially into the African National Congress, and we make sure that we win the coming elections in 2024.
Yeah. Did you reflect, for example, on the letter that former President Thabo Mbekis, who's also a veteran, wrote to the current deputy president of the ANC, where he says how we're handling the Phala matter is akin to what we did with the Zuma matter in Kandla, and he's lamenting the fact that the ANC did not allow the committee to probe ESCOM and what's going on there.
No, as a Veterans League, we felt that we should not reflect on that because, firstly, as you know, this matter is under review. Now, we don't have all the facts on the table, and of course, the letter of President Mbeki is most welcome because it's not the first time he has written letters expressing his views, which is appropriate as far as we're concerned. But the top 7 has met with him to discuss the letter itself. And so the top 7 said to us, let's leave it up to them, let them discuss it with him, and then they'll come back to us. And so we feel that and have confidence that the top 7, together with Comrade Mbeki, they should have discussed the matter. And of course, we'll get a briefing tomorrow. And of course, we're having an NEC meeting next week. And so it will be properly looked at and deliberated on. And Comrade Mbeki has made it very clear that he is a member of the African National Congress. He's got his own views. And it's not the first time, as I said, that he expresses his views. And of course, in the ANC itself, we do allow people and comrades to express their views within the organization itself, because it is their democratic right to express their views. But now the matter, as I'm saying, is still being discussed by the top 7, and we'll hear what's the outcome of that meeting with him. But at the same time, we are saying that there should be transparency on all issues that we're doing. We should take the confidence, the public into confidence. We should make sure that whatever he had said, it should be addressed. And we have, our view is that the top 7 has met with him, and of course those matters should have been addressed.
Now, when you look, for example, at some of the things that are happening in government, what has been the reflection of the Veterans League on the energy crisis? There's been a lot of changes and movement within that space in terms of the new Minister of Electricity, but we are seeing reports, for example, over the weekend that says there's now beginning to be some power struggles between the Energy Minister and the new Minister of Electricity, which is putting the President in the middle.
Well, we have confidence in especially in what government has put in place to have put in Comrade Maramokgopa as the Minister of Electricity. And of course, we have Comrade Gwede who's in charge of mineral energy. And of course, on the other side, you have Comrade Pravin Gordhan, who's in charge of public enterprises. Of course, there has to be some tensions, but we believe that those tensions will be resolved. Well, definitely, they have to be resolved because the 3 of them, they're not there about themselves. They're there to serve society. And we know very well and accept that ESCOM has been in serious crisis for over 15 years. And so it's not the first time. And the new structure that has been put in place by the President, we feel that and believe that it will definitely give us better results. It's just the teething problems that are there. But what is important, we know that those power stations have had serious problems in terms of question of services of the power stations, in terms of parts, in terms of ensuring that they deliver quality service to our people. And so tensions will be there initially, but as long as the roles have been properly defined, that this is the space for Khosinze, and this is a space for Public Enterprises Minister, and this is a space for Minister of Mineral and Energy Affairs, those matters will be resolved. They have to be resolved in the interest of society and the interest of the country itself, because we cannot go on like this. It cannot happen. We cannot allow that to happen, because we're losing public confidence, and the economy itself is taking a big knock with so many disruptions of electricity and power interruptions. And so we have confidence that will be attended to, and of course we'll get a proper report tomorrow at the NWC as to what measures are in place to make sure that those conflicts, if they are there, are being addressed, because they are human conflicts that are there, and they're man-made, and they need to be addressed.
Speaking of public confidence, for the first time, I mean, we're hearing opposition parties, and we're seeing polls that are saying the ANC could possibly see itself below 50% in 2024's election. Did the Veterans League reflect on this, and what are your thoughts on that?
No, we reflected on that, and that is why we are saying as Veterans League is that it's time that we as veterans, we mobilize veterans in all 9 provinces and ensure that we build strong structures of the Veterans League which are community-based. We make sure that our branches are functional. We make sure that we fix what is broken in all our municipalities. In terms of, we know that the problem of electricity, road infrastructure, water, sanitation, potholes all over the place, and the mass unemployment that is taking place. And so we as veterans will say all those areas must be fixed before end of the year. And of course, before the elections itself, because we know what has been broken, and we know that we ourselves as the ANC admit that we did deploy comrades who are not fit for purpose, and we have to fix what is broken, and we'll do that. And we know that 42 municipalities are not functioning well. We know where exactly where the problem is. We have to fix that for us to win the coming elections, and make sure that the economy picks up and people get employment, and of course that the country come back to its on its knees. It is unacceptable. We reflected on that, and we say that we as a Veterans League are taking the lead. And we have agreed that in terms of transformation of the country, of the ANC, renewal of the ANC, we should lead that. And the conference itself, the 55th conference, they gave us that mandate that we should lead in terms of the renewal of the African National Congress, making sure that our program of action is implemented, and veterans must lead that, especially at the ground, not top up, but bottom up. And so we have confidence that has to be attended to, and that will be attended to.
What is your response to the coalitions that are forming at local government? Certainly, we are seeing now what they call a moonshot pact that is set to be a coalition of some sort at national level, with the sole aim, really, of displacing the ANC and the thought that the ANC is going to be merging with the EFF.
Well, as the ANC, we know that every party is there to win elections. Every party is there to win votes. Every party is there to want to displace the African National Congress. And so the NEC of the ANC took a resolution that we should have a policy on coalitions. And we accept that. And so we serve in that team that is putting together a policy. That team is led by Comrade David Makura. Within the Veterans League, we have requested Comrade Mek Maharaj to represent the Veterans League. Our views were discussed that if we go into a coalition, we should issue the coalition based on our principles and values. It should not be a coalition where it's a coalition of friends, but actually our policies and principles must be taken into consideration. But we are saying that we won't go into a coalition for the sake of going into coalitions. We'd rather be in the opposition, on the opposition benches, but at the same time must make sure that people that will enter into coalitions with should be people who ascribe to our values and principles, and the public first must be serviced instead of looking at individuals pockets, because currently it's a question of Gamina Gawena. It cannot happen like that. That's why we need a policy. The African National Congress is developing a policy, and that policy will be discussed, will be presented to the NWC, National Working Committee, and of course it will also be presented to the National Executive Committee next week when we meet, and thoroughly debated and discussed. But all that policy will make sure that we serve the public. We make sure that the public is well serviced, not that individuals must benefit out of the coalitions. And we are saying that we're not going to next year's elections saying that we're going to coalitions. We're going into elections to win. And definitely we know for us to win is for us to fix what is broken. It's for us to make sure that our branches are functional, especially at the bottom. For us to win elections is that we should deliver on services. We as the African National Congress, we have agreed with the Minister of COCTA and to say that we'll deploy our cadres in each and every province at the branch level to help COCTA, to help our municipalities, to make sure that all what is broken is fixed, so that society regain society's confidence. And so coalitions, we are saying that fine, the policy must be there. At the same time, we must work hard to build confidence in society. That's what we believe in. We are not just saying we are going to coalitions, we are going for elections for coalitions. No, we're going to elections to win. And for us to win is for us to fix what is broken and make sure that we bring back confidence of society in the African National Congress. The African National Congress has the best policies in the world. The only problem that we have is a question of non-implementation and making sure that we deploy cadres who are fit for purpose, who will be able to bring back the confidence of society into the African National Congress. I think that's the attitude that we have taken as the ANC.
Right. Kuzen, appreciate your time. Thanks so much for coming on tonight. That is Dr. Snuki Zikalala, Veterans League convener there for the African National Congress.